What up, what up, what up? GrimDarkXander coming at you with another quick battle replay for the Daily Dose. In this fight, I'm going to be playing as the Vampire Counts against my opponent, who is also a really nice guy named Waluigi, and he is playing as the Greenskins. So, I brought Manfred von Karstein on his little dragon for my leadership. We've got Raised Dead, so zombie summons, some heals with Invocation, Purple Sun in case of a blob, Spirit Leech, and Soul Blight. I've gone with 4 Fellbats up in the sky, 4 Skeleton Spearmen. I gave them a chevron because I had some extra money. 3 Zombies, 2 Blood Knights, the Sternsmen, which is the ROR Graveguard in the back, Sword and Board, along with the Vargol for some heavy hitting. My opponent here, the Greenskins, has brought Grom the Paunch without his lucky banner, shockingly. Look at that guy's majestic paunch. So Grom the Paunch without his lucky banner, all he got is the Great on his here. He's also got a Black Orc Big Boss. This guy looks so awesome. Look at that sweet shield. And he's pretty stripped down too. All he's got is get back here. And he's also got a Giant Riptroll Hag, Lore of Death. He's got Purple Sun, Soul Blight, Spirit Leech, and his Mither ability. So, as far as that goes, he's got 3 Forest Goblin Spider Archers for his poke, which is fantastic. These units are great, especially versus Vampire Counts. They can really whittle down, and they've also got that poison too, so they can really do some damage to some important stuff. He's got some Rusty Arrows here, which is the Night Goblin Archers, ROR, which are also great. They have Armor Sundering. He's got, what's that? Yeah, Goblin Rock Lobbers, 2 Stone Trolls, and 2 Savage Orc Big Guns on the flanks to deal with large stuff. He's got some Night Goblins, a couple normal Goblins, and some Night Goblins. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, it just says Night Goblins, but it says it's an ROR, but whatever. Anyways, back to the battle. So he starts off, Vanguard deployed, right in front of my face, and starts popping some shots on my Fellbat. So I rotate to the right. I'm thinking, we gotta get out of here. His Rock Lobber is shooting, so my plan here was to just get rid of all of his ranged assets, and then Manfred could kind of reign supreme. I'm dropping a Spirit Leech with Manfred on Grom the Paunch right away. He does have regeneration, but dropping his health pool and bringing his healing cap closer is always a good thing. So he's chasing me. He's trying to zone me out with his 4 Goblin Spider Rider Archers, but I really like Fellbats. I think they're one of the best units on the Vampire Counts roster, as they're 350 gold, they're fast, they can really tie things down, and as you'll see, I send the weakened ones just straight in. They're my sacrificial lambs. I do not care about them. They're going to be going straight in under all the archer fire. They don't care. They're unbreakable. Onto these Goblin Rock Lobbers to shut them down. As if these guys sat on my Sternsmen or something like that, they could do some impressive damage. So just shutting them down so they can't fire is going to be my plan. My opponent's going to bring in some Stone Trolls to help. That should slap around these Fellbats and route them pretty fast, but anyways, I'm into the back line already with my 3 Fellbats, and I'm just looking for targets. I see the Giant Riptroll Hag here not being microed, so I fly right over it, drop a Breath Attack, and that's going to do some crazy damage, yeah. Did about, what is that, like 40% of its health, which is great. And I'm also going to Spirit Leech him here, I believe, here shortly. Yep. So I am also taking poke with Manfred. Pretty good poke, and I've got a Mither on me, so he's locked me down, and he's starting to poison, armor sunder me, so I'm going to take quite a bit of damage in that fight as well. But it was worth it, in my opinion. Grom the Paunch charges in, I counter-charge with my Blood Knights, and really lock him in, and now he's absolutely trapped. He's trapped in high-mass Blood Knights, Skeletons, I think there's a zombie in there, Skeleton Spirits, just where he doesn't want to be, and I've got the Vargolf coming in to help him as well. So he routes, which is a huge pick for me. That was excellent. Just a slight lapse in micro, but Manfred von Karstein has taken more damage than I expected. A second group of sacrificial Fellbats has routed the Goblin Rock Lobber, and I'm just basically going to be chasing that around, making sure that that does not come back. Manfred von Karstein kind of hunting the Giant Riptroll Hag, but he's smartened up. Very impressive play. He learned from his mistakes. He's going to start microing him away from Manfred von Karstein. But back here, Grom the Paunch is just getting absolutely worked on. I don't think there's any escape for him. He's going to go down here very shortly, or at least shatter. So he's just kind of still zoning me with the Rusty Arrows and the Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. That is a good plan. That's probably his best play, as Manfred is one of the, I'd say, one of 4 of the heavy hitters in my army. He's a very good lord. He has an impressive Winds of Magic pool, a lot of spells, a lot of abilities, he's just great. So I'm healing myself up, but I go back in. I thought I'd be able to sneak in, but no, my opponent's too good. He zones me out very well, and now I'm just going to try and juke some of these shots. So we managed to get the Rock Lobbers off and away from his units that are trying to help it come back from retreating. Grom the Paunch dies. So that's fantastic. I lost very little health. I only took some superficial damage on some zombies, and they're cheap and don't care. So, okay, so he's going to be dropping a Spirit Leash on Manfred, really trying to focus down Manfred. So I say, okay, we got to get this frontline fight started. Let's get it going. So, Manfred's going to fly back. He's taking so much damage. See, these guys are just fantastic. Like, you could focus the Vargul. You could focus the Blood Knights, because they have poison. They will never catch them. You could focus the Manfred. Like, there's so many targets for these guys. They're just such a good unit. So, I know that I'm going to pull these Spellbats in the back and my Blood Knights in the front, give him the old sandwich, and hopefully get rid of some of his missile support. So, these zombies taking shots from the rusty arrows, that's fine. We're not really too worried about that. That's there, literally, that's what they're there for. So, sending everything in. His front line should hold fairly well. Zombies and skeletons, spearmen should trade fairly evenly. But it's these guys, the Savage Orc Big Guns, that are going to be the absolute damage dealers. So, big fight here. He commits his Night Goblins, Savage Orc Big Guns, and his Trolls here. But the Trolls, the Rout Trolls, will instantly pretty much rout from... Let's see if they're terrified or anything. Nope, they're just routing. They just have terrible, terrible leadership. So I'm going to make sure to chase those guys down. Or these guys do have regen, and they are very, very, very strong. So I highly suggest if you're facing greenskins or anyone with any sort of troll unit, if they rout, you chase them down, like Norska or something. So Manfred's is flying on top. He gets another good breath attack and then charges in on the Giant Retro Hag, who is now shattered. So that's also another huge bonus for me. That's his magic off the field. That's 2 lords down. And Manfred's hit his healing cap. Well, he's almost there at least. He's got about 20% health, 20% more health to go. But as far as that goes, that's going great. Vargulf's charging into the rusty arrows and routing them, but this side of the battlefield is not going well for us. We actually shatter those stone trolls over there, which is great. So I'm going to send big boy Manfred over here to kind of help out. See what he can do, trying to avoid those archers. Still got a unit of Fellbats hanging around. Like I said, fantastic unit. I'm going to send them in on the rusty arrows so they can't do any armor sundering or anything like that. This Vargulf was in the exact wrong place. He doesn't want to be here fighting Savage Orc Big Guns. They have a huge, huge melee attack and an impressive weapon strength and bonus first large. So he's going to back out, rear charge these guys, try and get some terror routes going. Blood Knights are just kind of roaming around the flanks, looking for any picks that they can get. Manfred goes after the Black Orc Big Box and immediately has to run away because he got slapped. The Blood Knights here, I tried to get them around, maybe take out his last bastion of leadership here, but he actually, very good play from my opponent here. He intercepts them with the Savage Orc Big Guns with the wall active, so they're actually going to put an absolute whipping down. So, Manfred von Karstein's last breath attack goes down onto the Black Orc Big Boss. I've also been Spirit Leashing him, trying to get him down, just trying to burn him down. I was a little low on Winds of Magic at this point, but I figured I had to use them with some zombie summons and some Spirit Leeches. So these Blood Knights make it over here relatively unscathed. These ones took a huge amount of damage making their way over, but he also does have some Savage Orc Big Guns in this pocket as well. Somewhere. Where are they? Yeah, they're somewhere. They're in there. Or did he rotate them over? No, they're here, actually. They're in the middle. My mistake. So, I'm just inundating him with tons of zombies, tons of chaff to protect my Vargulf. They can absorb some hits. Maybe my Vargulf can cause some terror or something there to rout them. Rear charge with my Blood Knights. So this is kind of the epicenter of the battle now. I've reallocated pretty much all my forces here to try and break this last heavy-hitting pocket. As he's got his Stone Trolls here, his Black Orc Big Boss. But Manfred is danger low. He definitely has to be careful if he goes in again, as these Goblin Spider Rider Archers do have poison melee too. So if he countercharges with them, he can slow Manfred down, allowing the Black Orc Big Boss to really do some work. So let's get a good close-up of this fight. We got Stone Trolls, Vargulfs, Black Orc Big Boss, Manfred in here, zombies, Blood Knights. This is just an epic shot. So Stone Trolls start to waver, and they are now routing. Black Orc Big Boss, low on leadership too, but actually manages to stabilize. Get a look at these guys. Excellent. He used these guys very, very well, these Savage Orc Big Guns. That's how you use them, guys. Just follow around the enemy big threats, zone them out, tar pit them, do whatever you can. And they're going to do great in this fight. Because all I have left now are some Blood Knights, a Vargulf, Manfred, and some zombies. I think the Sternsmen are in here too. But they'll actually be okay against the... there they are. They'll be okay against the Savage Orc Big Guns. They don't have the greatest AP values. Let's slow it down here and actually check that out. So Savage Orc Big Guns have well, that's Manfred. What are we doing here? Yeah, Savage Orc Big Guns. Yeah, AP of 13 is not the greatest, as the Sternsmen do have 90 armor. So they'll do pretty good damage with their high melee attack, but the Sternsmen will last quite long as they do have regen as well. So Manfred coming in for a charge, trying to terror out some stuff still. We got some Blood Knights, was trying to chase down. It was really messy back here and hectic, so I was just trying to follow what I could, try and keep these Stone Trolls routed. But he does a good job of backing them up with Forest Goblins and some Goblins pulling them back in. So I summoned some more zombies, it looks like, just to try and absorb some damage. Oh, nice use of that Fanatics there, just tearing through these zombies. That whole zombie summon just basically just got wasted. So, the Black Orc Big Boss that's routing here, that's his last leadership unit, so I'm definitely going to try and keep that off the field. Vargulf's in here for in the fight of his life. We've got some zombie support, some crumbling Sternsmen, but they're not going to last very long. In the peripherals, the Blood Knights are just chasing down what they can. We've got his Stone Trolls on the run, and we're not going to let him go. A lot of his stuff is routing, but he's got a great pocket of infantry in here. He's got 2 Savage Orc Big Guns with great health. A couple, so we got Rusty Arrows with a couple shots left, two shots, and it looks like most of his other stuff's out of ammo, so it's gonna just be a melee slogfest, but that's what the Vampire count's like. A lot of my units have regen, you know, Manfred's got his heals, he's got no Winds of Magic right now, but this Vargulf's got regen, and I can keep summoning zombies if I can get the time to generate those Winds of Magic. So, let's just get this cinematic here. The Vargulf and Manfred fighting back-to-back against a horde of Savage Orc Big Guns. So much damage. So just trying to be really careful with my charges. Manfred is very close to his healing cap now. He's got 1100 health. This Vargulf's taking a beating. It's got barely any armor to protect it. It's going to start going into critical binding and having leadership issues here. Manfred doing a cycle charge in here, trying to get these Savage Orc Big Guns down. But he was kind of waiting with these Night Goblins and some units. I don't know if he wasn't pulling them in because he was afraid of getting like Purple Sunned, as the Savage Orc Big Guns with their War Paint are a little more susceptible to magic damage. I pulled my Vargulf out of there. I'm like, okay, we gotta get him out of there. He's taking too much damage. I've just got to pick out all of the stuff on the periphery and then maybe come back in when I've shattered some more stuff in force. But at this point, I was just biting my nails, man. This was an intensely close fight. Manfred probably could have cycle charged this stuff to death, but I don't really like playing that way. So I wanted to get one good last engagement. I'm going to turn this Volgarth around, as I see the Savage Orc Big Guns here are a little bit isolated. And we're going to hit him with pretty much everything we have over here. We're going to charge everyone in, Manfred in, 12 Knights in, coming in for a charge. And, oh, poor guy. So, these guys have successfully driven everything else on the periphery off the battleground. And Savage Orc Big Guns, we were able to break them, but the second unit comes in. So I've got to get Manfred out of there. This Vargulf's going to stay, and he's going to fight. Fight to the death. You still got a couple of units here. Like, if he maybe death blobbed, although he does run the risk of getting them all terrorized, but these Spider Riders, you can send them in. They do actually have poison melee attacks, so it'll drop their armor-piercing missile damage, speed, weapon damage. It really will help the fight out a lot. At this point, it might have been too far gone, but like if you run out of ammo with those guys, don't be afraid to send at least maybe one unit in to just poison everything in the battle, and maybe get the others to, if you're not fighting vampire counts, to chase off some routing units. So they rout almost instantly from one smack from the Vargulf, and now he's got pretty much nothing left. So we can just kind of fast forward through this part as I just summon some zombies and then basically cycle charge them to death with everything that I have. So, a close fight. I was worried at a couple points there in the fight, but let's take a look at the stats. So Manfred von Karstein, 3,322 value, just making his cost back, basically. But he's always a good lord. He's always a good pick. He's, like I said, he's got great Winds of Magic reserves. He can take a bunch of useful spells, and he hits pretty hard. He's not a great duelist, but he can hit hard. 3 zombies did their job. Just 8 arrows, and were this bodies for the big heavy hitters to do the work. Skeleton Spearmen, same thing. Graveguard did very well, 668 damage value, but they were pretty much one of the last things alive to help buffer for the Vargulf and tar pit the enemy. Blood Knights, they did pretty well. This one did excellent. That was probably one chasing off all his routing units, but Blood Knights, yeah, they're pretty much invaluable. Chasing off routing units there at the end and taking out some of his skirmishers. Just being an ever-present threat. This one gained 2 chevrons. That's incredible. 4 Fellbats, they did okay. They're Fellbats. They did exactly what I want them. They're my sacrificial lambs that I always run in front of my army and just pin down all the ranged with. These guys are fantastic. And Vargulf did well. Did very well. Put a bit of a hurting down on the Black Orc Big Boss and such. So, this was kind of an experimental build. I wanted to try out, you know, a little bit of a weaker front line and more heavy-hitting stuff. But it worked out quite well. So for my opponent, Waluigi, his, unfortunately, Grom the Paunch didn't get wrecked so hard at the beginning. I think that fight might have actually swung into my opponent's favor. If he was able to just drift through my infantry, causing tons of damage with rear charges, he could have really, really pulled that back. But luckily for me, I got a good pick at the beginning. Giant Riptrail Hag did okay. She occupied Manfred, I guess, for a bit and allowed him to get shot with that mither, but didn't really make her value back. This Black Orc Big Boss didn't either, so his whole leadership corps basically didn't do very much. The Goblins did okay in the front line. They did what they were... Oh, look at these Night Goblins. That's fantastic. So these guys did absolutely well. There, see? It was the 8 peak loonies. Maybe I was just missing that. My apologies if I missed that in the actual battle. So these guys did fantastic. Look at that 1,600 damage value. That is insane. That's really, really good. So these Night Goblins did very well. Savage Orc Big Guns did extremely well. These are a very, very good unit. Gaining 3 chevrons between the 2 of them. Rusty Airs did... Oh my god, I did not even realize they did that much damage. That was probably from Manfred. They did very, very well as well. And my opponent was controlled. These Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers did extremely well as well. These Trolls didn't do super well. The one unit seemed to have done some good like damage, but it was kind of just shock damage, as soon as they routed, I was able to get them off the field pretty easily. And, of course, this Goblin Locklobber, 1 kill. Probably fell bad and picked out of the sky. But with that, that's the end of the video. So, if you liked it, like and subscribe. If you didn't, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see, what you'd like to change, if you want to see any more of a certain race, or anything you want. I'm here for you guys. So, be sure if you have replays as well to send them to GrimDarkXander at Outlook. No, GrimDarkXanderReplays at Outlook.com. It'll be down in the comments. So, stay safe, and I'll see you.